Assalamu alaikum. Barcelona 3 and Mallorca 0, and beautiful game that was from Barcelona, and yet again no struggle shown from Barcelona. They're missing players like Pedri, Rafinha, De Jong, who De Jong could have played but he was being rested. Scored with a player like Bernal, scored with Lewandowski, right? Whether Lewandowski is playing or Ferran Torres, I feel like they're still going to get their goals no matter what. They still didn't concede a goal, and I think if I look at the recent matches, let me just double check. Okay, they've been conceding, but only one goal, not more than one goal, I believe. Yeah, so I don't think they've been conceding more than one goal. See, this one, only one goal. Well, against Slavia, it was 2 goals. All right, so they've been going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In the past 5 games, they've only conceded 1 goal or less, which is a good thing, right? Because when you concede a lot of goals, that ruins the goal difference, right? And depending on the competition that you're in. And it's not an easy thing to maintain. And Barcelona so far has been maintaining that pretty well. And especially against Mallorca, whom are facing relegation. Well, now they're not. They're out of the top 15. They had nothing to lose, right? Mallorca had nothing to lose. They should have been playing like they're more hungry. Yeah, I've been saying this throughout the entire season that Barcelona is just the team that looks like they are more hungry to win. They got many Laliga titles. They got many domestic cups titles. They've won the Champions League before. But under hansiflick, you guys can tell, this man just changed the mindset of every single player and possibly every single staff there. And probably even had an effect on the president. I feel like Laporta, whoever the president is going to be with this new election coming up, everybody has trust with hansiflick or for hansiflick. I feel like hansiflick just knows what he's doing. Everybody trusts him. Everybody knows who he wants to play, who he doesn't want to play. And like I said again, that is one of the key differences between Real Madrid and Barcelona. And before I get into Real Madrid, because there's a lot of things I still want to talk about in regards to Real Madrid, in terms of the way they're training now, in terms of who's starting, in terms of injuries, everything. I'm going to talk about that at the end of the video. But right now, I just want to focus on this game with Barcelona and Mallorca. So, as we know, right, without even looking at the stats, without even looking at the numbers, Barcelona dominated on the sheet, dominated in the game. I am surprised that Mallorca even had 9 shots, but I am not surprised that it's only one big chance, because when I try to look back and think about the game, I can't think about anything that Mallorca did that was good. There was like literally nothing. All they had, whenever they had the ball, right, especially in their own half, they struggled to take the ball out of their first half or out of their own half. It was pretty hard for Mallorca to do that. What they would do all the time is just boot the ball out and then hope for Mallorca players in the top, right, the attackers, to catch the ball. Barcelona, the way they were pressing, right? I've been saying this. The way Barcelona's tempo is, the way they control the momentum in the game, not just this game but any other game, it's just something that you admire, something that you wish your team had, whoever's team doesn't play with this intensity. But like I said, right, hansiflick he knows when to rest players, he knows when to start players. Compared to Real Madrid, right? Since I love Real Madrid and that's the club that I support, the players are the ones who have the voice and they are the main captain of the ship, right? If they feel like they want to get rested, they're gonna get rested. But if they feel like they want to play, Vinny, Bellingham, whoever, they are going to play. And I feel like Arbeloa, same with Xabi Alonso, they didn't have to say. And I hope that I remember to mention Gareth Bale, what he said about managing Real Madrid, because I do see and I do agree with him. But looking at the lineup really quick, honestly, I don't know how Lewandowski got a 7.9. I don't think honestly, that goal did help him, but he wasn't doing the best. Rashford, there was a lot of chances that he was missing, or a lot of 1v1s with Rashford has been questionable, right? I think Rashford he's a valued player when he's coming off the bench, but obviously Rafinha is injured, so they had no player to start in the left wing. Probably a couple, but in my opinion, I would have started Rashford no matter what. I just got a phone call, but if I do remember correctly, yes, I would start Rashford if Rafinha was the one who was going to be out. Lamine Yamal honestly had a magnificent game. I don't know why he only has an 8.2 rating. I feel like he should have been right behind Olmo. Lopez, I don't think he deserved to get a higher rating than Lamine Yamal. I don't know. These ratings are a little confusing. Juan Garcia did his part. He did his role. As a goalie, I think he did magnificent. Eric Garcia, like I said, he's one of the most undervalued players in La Liga, if not in the world. And nobody really looks at Eric Garcia. Nobody mentions his name. Nobody really talks about how he's been the perfect replacement for Inigo Martinez, because honestly, not just me, but everybody, right? Barcelona fans, everybody was like wondering who's going to fill in that gap for Inigo Martinez. And we saw in the beginning of the season where everybody was missing Inigo Martinez, and we all knew that Araujo wasn't going to be the person who was going to fill in that gap. Hansi Flick, as we know him by now, knew exactly who was going to fill that gap, and it wasn't going to be Araujo, but he knew it was going to be Eric Garcia. So Eric Garcia, honestly, in my opinion, has been doing even better than Kubarsi when he's defending. Yeah, Mallorca, honestly, like I said, Barcelona really stopped this team, this hungry team that wants to chase La Liga, that wants to get back in the top 10. Barcelona stopped him, right? Now, Barcelona's next game is against Atletico Madrid, which is something that we had to take into consideration because there was De Jong who was being rested, and I think a couple of players who got subbed off a little early, like Olmo, Rashford. Lewandowski, I don't think he's going to be the one starting against Atletico Madrid. I think it's Ferran Torres because Ferran came in late or got subbed on late. We know lamineyamal got subbed off a little earlier. He usually plays the 90-minute. It's very important for Barcelona to be locked in against Atletico Madrid because if we look at the next game against Atletico Madrid, we can see Atletico Madrid, they have not been that consistent, but they've been getting their results, right? So they won against Mallorca 3-0, which is the same result as Barcelona, and they beat with a statement win 5-0 against Real Betis. So Atletico Madrid, as we know, and I don't know if you guys know, but One Piece being the greatest anime of all time, Antoine Griezmann just unlocked that celebration, that Gear 2 Luffy celebration. So we might see Antoine Griezmann even go crazy this game. I don't know. I do still expect Barcelona to dominate this game. I do expect them to do good, but it just depends, like I said, if the game plan is going to be there, if the high line is working, if there's no risks, because as we know, the high line, there's always risks to it. There's always going to be a chance where the team can just make that perfect run and execute that perfect run depending on the timing. And it could leave a situation where it's a 1v1 between Juan Garcia and the player. So there's a lot of things to take into consideration. We know Sorloth has been doing good against Barcelona, so I'm expecting him to start. Antoine Griezmann, I don't think he's going to start. Maybe he's going to come off the bench. We know Julian Alvarez, by the way, he's magnificent. Expect him to do, magnificent things. Who else do they have? They have Simeone, who's, in my opinion, I think he's inconsistent, but there's times where when he's doing good, in a match, when he's locked in, I think he's very decisive. He could be a decisive player for Atletico Madrid in this game. But this is a two-leg game, right? So Barcelona and Atletico Madrid still have time to redeem themselves. It does say that Sorloth is injured, and they have a couple of players who are also injured. I don't think none of them are starters. I don't really know. But Sorloth, I know that sometimes he does start. And as we know, Pedri, Rafinha I don't think they're going to be able to come back and recover on time. I heard Gavi is recovering very soon and he's going to come back. So we just got to wait and see, right? Wednesday just around the corner, or is it going to be Thursday? Yeah, it's going to be Thursday. It's right around the corner. So we just got to wait and see how this game plays out. So really quick, I did want to go to Real Madrid and Valencia. I'm just gonna talk about it in general, right? So if you look at the table really quick, we have Real Madrid and Valencia who are in the bottom half of La Liga. And if you guys know how Real Madrid plays against these teams who are hungry, we have not been doing good. And even teams who are not hungry, like Atletico, Villarreal, we have not been doing the best, right? There's a couple of teams there where we had a dominant statement win, and but that is not a consistent result. We have to be honest with ourselves. A lot of people in my comments on Instagram or on TikTok try to say that I am a fake Real Madrid fan, or I'm disguised the Real Madrid fan. I'm actually a Barcelona fan. Listen very carefully, all right? Just because I'm not like a delusional fan that just talks and speaks about good things only about Real Madrid does not mean that I'm not a fan, right? I am a truthful fan. If you guys want to categorize fans, all right, you guys can put me as an honest fan, because I'm not going to blind myself with these delusions and try to say that, hey, at least we won a Champions League 2 years ago, I'm comfortable with that. No, every single team wants to win it every single year. Now, there's a huge difference between trying to win and not trying to win. And this is why a lot of the Real Madrid supporters, or content creators specifically, are upset, because the Real Madrid fans or the Real Madrid players, the team, whatever, the president, they're not trying to win. They know that they could get the solution. They could fix the problem right now, but they're choosing not to. And that is the huge problem that we have as Real Madrid fans, because every single team, whether they're a dominant team or whether they're not, they are going to lose. For example, Barcelona last year in the Champions League, Barcelona fans were not upset, the players. Nobody was upset at the team, because there's a difference between trying to win, which that was what Barcelona tried to do last year, and not trying to win. Example is us in the second leg against Arsenal, where we had to come back, or even the first leg. We did not do that, and that is what gathered up from last season to this season. That's what's piling up and up and up. And now we have Perez. I'm going back to Perez, who is only caring about money, who is only caring about starting concerts, hosting events at the Bernabeu, speaking about that we generated the most revenue. Where is the change in the football game with the football aspect? We don't care about the money. If we have the money, let's invest that into the football aspect. Now he's trying to break it up into a business and trying to have these stockholders, whatever. It's no longer about football anymore. I feel like for Perez, it's no longer about that. It's about the money, generating money. And I'm very happy that Barcelona did step out of that Super League because I did do more research about it. I'm still confused about it. But in my opinion, that's just the money move. We can't do that. Perez is just focusing on money move and not focusing on actually what's going to affect this football team. You have players walking all over the manager. You have players who are managing themselves. Right, Arbeloa is just there as a spitting image. You have Xabi Alonso who is there trying to do what you guys told him to do until it backfired on him for him to just leave. That is not the Real Madrid that I know. Gareth Bale, going back to him, he said that Real Madrid is not a club for tactics. I agree with him. It is not a club where you install tactics for these players. It's not a club where you tell the players what to do, right? It's a club where you just have to manage the egos. That's what he said. Not word for word, but I'm just summarizing it in my own words. Are we really going to have that same mindset that we had back like 10 years ago? That 3P Real Madrid? I get it. If it was the 3P Real Madrid with that mindset, I get it. Was Zidane controlling the egos? I get that. But you're talking about this team right here with these players. That is the same mindset that they had 10 years ago with Ronaldo, Benzema, Bale, and the 3P gang. You're telling me that this team right here is the same as that team in terms of ego mentality? It's not, because yes, we had egos back then. We needed somebody to manage the egos, but those egos knew what it took to win. Those egos knew what it had to take in order to win, and they 3P'd the Champions League. But this team right here, you can tell, for example, Mbappe probably most definitely forced himself to play in order to break Ronaldo's record or attempt to break Ronaldo's scoring record. And I bet you that Xabi Alonso probably didn't even want him to play. But guess what? Perez definitely spoke to Xabi Alonso. Let the players do what they want. You manage the players that don't have that much star power. But people in the Bernabeu, they came here to see Bellingham, Vinny, Mbappe. Now guess what? Everybody's booing them in the stadium. And in this game tomorrow, a tough game against Valencia where we're missing Vinicius Jr., where we're missing Rodrigo, missing a lot of the players in the back line and in the midfield, you are telling me that was worth it for the players to just for the fans to just look at these players, that they're not even going to be there anymore? And we're going to be away as well. So I don't even know what to feel about this game because, like I said, I don't know if they're going to show, but we have Rudiger missing, Alaba missing, right? I'm just going to list all of them. Trent, who's been missing for a while. Militao's been missing for a while. Bellingham, who just got recently injured. Rodrigo, recently injured. Vinicius Jr. suspended. Now, what is the lineup going to be? We might have Valverde, right? I think this is the exact lineup that we're going to play in. This 100%. I agree with this predicted lineup. This is exactly what we're going to play with. I mean, Brahim Diaz on the left wing. How do you even compare this Real Madrid team to the same Real Madrid team 10 years ago? It's uncomparable. You cannot compare those both teams. You cannot. It's impossible. You can't do that. Now, like I said, Barcelona, they're 4 points clear of us. They're 4 points clear of us again. We have to win this game. Now, we're chasing Barcelona. Like I said, Barcelona having the lead is very, very, very dangerous because it's harder for us to chase a team like Barcelona. Barcelona is unstoppable as of right now. Yes, there's moments where they could catch an L, right? Just like this one. There's moments. It could happen. But if you had to pick one team that's most likely going to drop points, it's Real Madrid. Between Barcelona and Real Madrid, it's Real Madrid. So, like I said, I'm considering that this season is already done for. We got eliminated in the Copa del Rey. Barcelona showed us exactly how to beat that team. We got the Super Copa where we lost, right, against Barcelona, when I bet you that Xabi Alonso probably didn't want the exact players to play like that. Probably his tactics were being ignored. We have the Champions League where we were in the top 8 comfortably, and then we just bottled that. Now we have to play in the knockout against Benfica, who dusted us the first time around. Everything is looking back for Real Madrid. Everything's looking bad. And I think that we have to hit the reboot button restart, format everything, even the president, the board, restart everything from start and get new players. Obviously not entirely new players, maybe not entirely new managers, but for like 90% of them, we have to do that. Now, let me know what you guys think about this Barcelona game. Was there anything that shocked you? Was the starting lineup shocking to you? Was the way they were struggling to get their goals in the first half shocking? Let me know what you guys think, and especially for this game for tomorrow. Put in the comments below, and thank you all for watching. If you guys are not subscribed, make sure that you do subscribe because it's for free. And we are closing on 300 subscribers. Thank you very much. And make sure you follow on all social media at riyalroots. Thank you, and until then, Assalamu alaikum.